What's going on, Malakis? VNCC3 here, and in this video, I am going to translate what this raid update roadmap is actually trying to tell you. Now, if you take this as me bashing Plarium, you should just go ahead and click away from the video right away, because that is not my intentions. I happen to really enjoy this game. I really do. But in layman's terms, let's just go ahead and explain what this all means. So we can go ahead and skip this top half. This is basically Plarium promising that they're going to add more pay-to-play features in the game for the players out there that actually spend on the game. What does that mean for you as a free-to-play player? Well, not a whole lot, to be honest with you. It just means that there's more content later in the game that you can access. That's pretty much the way I would look at it if it was me and I was free to play. So, new factions. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put a timeout right there. Listen, Plarium, if you, whoever is deciding to make all these new factions and all these new champions, how about y'all just stop? Like, or at least give us a way to possibly earn a certain faction's, like, shard, or, you know, like, charge me, you know, 1,000 gems or whatever to get all Sacred Order shards or all Dark Elf shards or whatever, and give me 10 of them or whatever, right? 100 gems per roll. Whatever the case may be is, because, you know, look, the more champions you add in the game, the harder and harder and harder it gets for players like myself, or you even that's viewing this video, to get those other champions that you actually want. Like, let's go ahead and throw a name out there. Zavia, Bad Alcazar, Martyr. We're talking about staples in, like, top tier clan boss damage teams. They're just making it increasingly more difficult, so you have to spend a lot more money in order to get those champions. I understand, like the Dwarf event, they say, oh, we released a new faction. Now we can go ahead and, you know, give you double the drop rates on them. Yay! That still doesn't equate to a long-lasting solution, you know? But look, I understand. They got to make money, but that's all I'm going to say. A desktop version, I'm not going to bother with it because, you know, realistically, here's two things, okay? They promise better graphics. They promise better performance. But if you're not playing on a potato, like, straight up, real talk, you know, listen, Scoops, I'm not trying to bash you, but if the shoe fits, wear it, all right? If you're not playing on a complete potato, then you shouldn't have a problem running, like, Nox Player or, you know, BlueStacks Emulator or whatever the case may be, is to run your game very smoothly with good graphics on it. Like, this video right now is being taped on Nox Player. I could kick this up to 4K, not a problem, but that's besides the point, okay? Will I give it a shot? Yeah, I'll give it a shot, but I happen to like my built-in, like, auto-clicker that BlueStacks and Nox actually offers, so I can get through and get minnow and masteries, because that takes, you know, forever, and I don't want to sit here and gouge up my eyeballs. Let's move on, though, okay? Faction Wars. Man, they've been promising this for a little bit now. I think they're still trying to work out the kinks, to be honest with y'all. I believe that they have it already set in places, and it's already been coded. They're just trying to figure out how they're going to section off each area. You know, in my other video, I mentioned, you know, like the Sacred Order banners and High Elves, yada, 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 right? They're all under, like, the Plarium or whatever faction. So all of those 4 groups or 5 groups will all be available during a certain day of the week or whatever the case is. Because I don't buy, especially when they're adding more factions, right? Right up here, new factions. I don't buy it for 1 second that they're going to say, well, on this Tuesday at, you know, 5 o'clock, you can go ahead and access this dungeon if you want to, Scoops. I don't buy that for a second, because all it's going to do is piss off a lot of players, because they're going to, you know, potentially halt all of their current progression. They're not going to be able to use certain champions. And let's just go ahead and put it out there. I'm going to pick on the Skinwalkers or the Lizardmen or whatever the case may be is, right? They just either don't have very good champions or an extremely tiny, like my, you know, amount of champions to pick from is kind of what I'm getting at, Scoobs, right? Like, they don't have a whole lot to pick from. So, you know, you either need really, like, good epics on those, or you need the legendaries, or you need extremely good artifacts to carry your way through it. My other video, I will link it in the description. I kind of talk about Faction Wars and the problems I foresee happening with it, especially if they do each individual, you know, it's going to be an absolute headache, and it's going to only cater to the whales and only cater to those people who can actually, you know, get sets of gear. Like, I've got, I think, a total... Anyways, I digress. Let's go ahead and keep going, all right? Now, Glyphs. This is a fancy way of saying, if you pay enough money, we will let you slightly increase your champion's power a little bit. And I can promise you right now, it's going to require some form of currency that you're going to have to buy. Like, I would be so shocked if they didn't say, well, if you want to unlock this Glyph slot, don't pay us gems. Like, I would be so appalled. I would be so shocked. I really would be. Like, in fact, if they don't do that, if they don't have a paywall in there somewhere, then my next video, as soon as that stuff drops, is going to be a $20 gift card. Call me out on it, Scoobs. For all of you guys out there that have viewed me since Lords Mobile, you know I am an absolute man of my word, and I absolutely 1,000,000,000% give back to the community, and I never ask anybody for anything. I don't ask for donations because I don't want them. You keep your money, basically, right? But that's besides the point. We'll get more into that at the end of the video, all right? But yeah, I would be so shocked if this wasn't like a major paywall, and not even a major one, like something simple like, the sparring pit, 350 gems. Well, let me go ahead and break that down. About 100 gems is about $2.30-ish, somewhere in that ballpark range. So, $2.30, $4.60, $6.90, and some change. Basically, like $7 to open up the level 1 slot. Now, level 2, yada, 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 right? I'm not against paying for these features, but I would just appreciate it a lot more if they made it free-to-play accessible. Not because I need it to be free-to-play accessible, but because, look, heads up, Plarium, you're going to shoot yourselves in the foot, and you're going to lose a lot of your player base the moment you start doing these kinds of things where you force your players to have to use their premium currency just to keep going on through the content. Like, let me give you an example, okay? I appreciate being able to open up the dungeons whenever you want for a 24-hour period. Thank you very much, Plarium. But under no circumstances, why do you keep dropping the ball so hard? Like, it's not difficult. Give an option to pay, 5 million silver, 20 million silver. Make it an outrageous amount, okay? Make it 10 million silver, or you have the luxury of paying, maybe 100 gems or something like that in order to unlock this, the certain dungeon that you would like to go into. You know what I mean, Scoobs? Like, it just makes more sense from a PR standpoint and retention standpoint. Retention is the key word, because like I said, like the Glyphs, if they make it so that you have to pay a certain amount of gems to open up the ability just to use the Glyphs, it's really going to turn a lot of your player base away, and your retention is going to go. And that's all I'm going to say about that, Scoobs. Call me out on it if you'd like to. I literally have almost never been wrong when I've made these statements. Check my rap sheet on Lords Mobile. I've always been right. I am always the go-to guy for that kind of stuff because I just look at it from a common sense point. That's about it. I'm not saying I'm the best, okay? I'm just saying I've got a pretty good idea that that's what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and move on, though, right? I'm sorry, it's turning into a rant video. I apologize, right? Platinum Arena tier. Now, I actually appreciate this quite a lot. I would appreciate if they did something more than 4 medals. You know what I mean? It's really difficult to build your guild hall up if you're not on the higher end of the pay scale. It really is, because if you're not in gold tier 4, then you're not getting 4 medals. As simple as that, And the difference between getting 3 medals and 4 medals on a 10-run scheme, let's see here. That's what, 10 medals? That's just literally 1 day. And in 10 hours, that's 10 more medals. Start doing the math, Scoobs, and that adds up. It really does. In a month period, I would have gotten significantly more upgrades than you would have gotten. And that's all I'm going to say about that, all right? But I really do appreciate the Platinum tier. I really do. I just hope that they don't screw us over, because they screwed us over when it came down to the nerf on loot to the Nightmare Clan boss. They really, truly did. They said in their message, we adjusted the Nightmare Clan boss to be a little bit less. And that's pretty much all they said towards the end. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like those underhanded tactics. That's a really good way to lose me as a customer. I'm not saying I'm going anywhere, but, if I start noticing that that's the way things are happening, where they're lessening the top tier to make a smidge bit increase for the next higher tier, and you've got to pay a certain amount of money just to get to that, it's going to turn me off. I'll walk away. I've got no problem dumping $10,000 into a game and just walking away. It doesn't bug me any. It really doesn't. Let's go ahead and move on, right? Void Tower. Oh, Battle Pass, right? Man, Battle Pass. I think it's cool, but I don't think this is going to be a free-to-play thing. Like, free-to-play members cannot get access to this. Like I said, add a ridiculous amount of silver that you've got to pay for it. Like, straight up. Like, my free-to-play accounts, each, they've got, like, I don't know, like 10 million silver because I simply cannot advance. Like, I can't get into the other dungeons to keep rolling stats on my gear. You know, make it accessible for everybody. Don't just cut all your player base off. By all your player base, I'm literally telling you right now that 90% or more of the actual player base in this game are 100% legit free to play. Why? Well, that's just the way the nature of the game is. You go to any other mobile game that's got microtransactions, literally 90% or more of those players are free to play. So please, Plarium, don't shoot yourself in the foot by adding these cool features, but denying the majority of your player base, because retention is the key word. And that's this. Look, man, whoever your PR guy is, we should have a talk, okay? Just shoot me an email. Love you guys, all right? Let's go like this. Void Tower. The Forbidding Tower, blah, 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 blah. This is basically going to say, when it opens, it's going to be like a new Dragon's Tower, a new Fire Knight's Castle, yada, yada, yada. You know, I like it. It's content, that's for sure. But are they going to make it so difficult that it's going to basically keep cutting all the free-to-play players off? Like, I get it. They have to appeal to their whales. They have to throw a bone. They have to do something like that for those players. Here's a suggestion. Why don't you add a feature in the game where your clan faces another clan? And for points, straight up. And then the winner of all the clans, right? So, like, if I'm ranked number 1 clan, I'm going up against rank number 2 or whatever. Now, we're going to battle it out somehow, you know, whether it's in the Void Tower, right? We're going to battle it out in the Void Tower, or we're going to go do it in the arena, or whatever the case is, but then reward those players for competing. That's basically what the whales have always been looking for in any game that they've ever played. They're looking to compete with other players, and that's pretty much about it. And I think by adding the Void Tower, especially making it, like, overly too difficult, they're going to shut a lot of players away from it. And that's all I'm going to say. Retention, retention, retention. Tag Team Arena, absolute garbo. No offense to anybody who's going to appreciate it, but I think that's going to be absolute garbo. Not even hot and fiery, like just straight up garbage. Like, you just don't even want to look at it. New clan boss. Mans, look, I love you guys. I do. Quit playing around with the clan bosses. Like, I get it. Add a new one that does something different. That's cool. But stop freaking nerfing the clan bosses that people are doing just to add a smidge, like just a, I would say it, but I would get demonetized immediately, but just adding like a smidge bit of like extra into that next clan boss, but then making it so that you've got to pay, like, I did the math, it's close to like $15 to $20 daily, by the way, just to get that top tier award. Like, I do about 15 million-ish clan, Ultra Nightmare clan boss damage. I know there's players out there that have accounts that do way more than that, but I think 15 million is actually quite substantial. It's pretty good, actually. And I did the math, and I would have to buy, like, 5 additional keys, and, you know, at $2 and some change a pop, that, you know, it ends up being quite a lot of money in the long run, and that's daily, by the way. But I get it. They got to appeal to the whales. Just stop screwing the people who are not whales, and that's all I'm trying to get. That's the whole point of a lot of what I'm saying. Stop screwing over your player base that are not whales by nerfing and taking back and taking away from those players, because retention is the key word, and that's how you're going to lose a lot of your player base. Mythical artifact crafting. Crafting is the key word. I 1,000,000,000% guarantee you, Scoobs, that the new clan boss is going to drop the stuff for the artifact crafting. The Void Tower is going to drop stuff for the crafting. I appreciate it because it's going to allow you to go craft your artifacts that you would like for your sets. I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place, and then just have the stats be randomized on those, right? Go in, do your dungeon, get 20... farts in the face, right? So you can make a buttercup move, right? So I want the buttercup helmet that's going to fart on my face every time I put it on. Let me go ahead and go collect those materials. Oh, snap. It rolled, flat HP and some other random stats that are just really crappy that I don't want. You get it? Crappy, buttercup, anyways. What I'm trying to say, Scoobs, is I don't know why they didn't take this approach to begin with. I mean, I can understand why they didn't, because it would it kind of forces players to spend an absorbent amount of energy just to get decent sets of artifacts. But that's nor here nor there. Oh, man. Anyways, this video is pretty long, guys. My thoughts about all of this is I greatly appreciate it. I truly do. I have a lot of appreciation for it. But, like, what I'm trying to see here is a trend of Plarium basically saying if you do not pay more into the game, you're not going to keep advancing your accounts, which is fine. I'm not against that. But here's what I am against. I am against them continuously taking away from what already is existing, like they already did with the Nightmare Clan boss. That's a shame, no move. You're gonna lose a lot of your player base, Plarium. You really are. And I may not be your top spender. I may not be your best and biggest influencer or whatever. But all I'm trying to tell you is that you're gonna kill your game before it has the opportunity to sprout wings and fly. Take Summoner's War, for instance. That game is old, and it is still going strong because they listen to their actual player base, and they try to make things as fair and obtainable for everybody who's there. Obviously, there's going to be pay-to-play aspects of the game, but don't start taking away from the free-to-play players and punishing them, essentially, for not being pay-to-play. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. But anyways, love you guys. But y'all know what I'm talking about, though, right? Love, peace, and chicken grease. Be safe. Oh, in case you're wondering, about the clan boss damage, straight up, home skillet. Yeah, I do. I did 14.8. I said 15. I'm rounding it up, okay, right? Love you guys, all right? And stay classy.